Hi, this is Jeff August here today with another quick tutorial. Today we're going to be talking about direct link and SpeedGrade and SpeedLooks. So we're going to start our tutorial in Adobe Premiere, and what we've got here is just a small snippet of a music video that we've recently color corrected, and we'll actually include the video at the end of the tutorial so you can take a look at it. So a couple things to notice on my timeline. I have the edit. I've also reduced all the edit down to one track. It's going to make things easier as we move into SpeedGrade and start finishing. So the first thing that we want to do before we go into SpeedGrade is we want to prep our timeline. And so what we're going to do is actually create two adjustment layers. The first adjustment layer we're going to create is for our camera patches. So we'll just create that. And then we're going to create another adjustment layer, which we're going to use as our look layer. So we'll quickly create two adjustment layers, one for camera patch and one for look. And so we'll now drag them onto the timeline. And like other SpeedLooks workflows, it's important that we sandwich our color correction in between our camera patch and our look. So that's what we've got going right now. So now we want to pull some grading layers that will work in SpeedGrade so we can individually color correct each shot. So what we've done is I've selected the Alt key on the keyboard, and now I'm selecting my video edit. And by holding the Alt, I can drag that track up, and I'll do it 2 times. So now I've kind of duplicated that track, and what I'll do now is I'm going to select it, and the first thing I'm going to do is clear any effects that might have been on those clips. So if you had DVEs or color correction. To make things easier in SpeedGrade, what I'm going to do is just color code these tracks that I've just done, and we'll make them a lovely rows. And then the last thing we're going to do is we're going to tell these clips to become adjustment layers. So again, I'll select the clips, I'll right click, and now choose adjustment layer. So now we've got our Premiere timeline set up, and I'll just go over it from top to bottom. On the very top is where our look is going to live. The next 2 tracks are where we're going to do individual color correction, masking, secondaries, whatever. And the lower track is where we do our camera patch. We've got all the timeline now prepped. The one thing I'm going to do in SpeedGrade is actually razor up my top look layer. I know which shots had different looks, so we're going to just go through the timeline, and I'm just going to make edits on where we have scene changes, because there's about 5 different looks that I used in this video. It's kind of a progression of the singer's journey with her boyfriend as she breaks up with him and sees him cheating. It's quite terrible. But we've now just quickly cut this up. There's quite a few edits in there, but that will work as our look layer so we can change the look. So the next thing we'll do is send this to Adobe SpeedGrade using direct link. And you can see right away everything that we created in Premiere has now showed up in SpeedGrade, and we are ready to color correct. So we'll select our camera patch layer, and then we know it was shot on the Canon 5D. So we'll now choose the Canon 5D camera patch, and now it's applied to the entire sequence. So now we're going to go up to our look layers, and I know that I created this scene black and white, so I'm just going to start putting my looks onto the timeline. And then for our live performances, I used Clean KB. The K stands for Kodak, our kind of version of Kodak. In this scene, it was black and white, so I can just recall the previous grade. And again, I can just go through and hit the number 2 on the keyboard, and it's going to call up the second previous grade of each shot. So you can see it's a quick way to get your looks working. This scene I went with, she's very upset. She's just caught her boyfriend cheating. So I actually went with the Matrix look. And it's a little overexposed right now, but we'll adjust that. And then we'll continue to copy our looks. This was Matrix as well. And then the final scene is clean. All right, so I've now showed you how to quickly apply your looks on your top layer. We're just going to go now and start to actually do some quick color corrections. So I'm just going to grade this really quickly on the fly. Get some nice contrast. I'm keeping my eyes on the scope. That looks pretty good to me. All right, so this is her performance scene. I'm just going to just bring my blacks down. I've graded this scene quite a bit. And just by using our look, we're going to get a really rich feel out of this right away with not too much tweaking. Again, I've already adjusted the previous black and white shot, so I'm going to hit the number 2 keyboard and just call that up. And actually, I'm going to do a little more adjustment. Let me just play with the highlights a bit and get them kind of up there. All right, I'll move through. I'm going to copy the previous grade on that, which looks great. And now I want to copy the previous grade. How many steps ago? 1, 2, 3. So I'll step to my shot and hit 3 on the keyboard. And we've got a great look right there, right out of the get-go. Just maybe make some simple adjustments. I'm going to recall effect 2. It's a little dark, so we'll just, again, but you can see how quickly we can move and shape the shots the way we want them. A little too bright on her face. We'll just bring that down. And again, I'll recall the second previous grade. Ooh, that's not so good. So I'm going to undo that by hitting its backspace, and we'll just going to adjust it manually because it's actually really close to where I want it to be. A little more saturation. Now this scene is kind of interesting. The director actually meant it to be a sunrise, but it's actually sunset backlit. And I'm going to show you a really neat SpeedGrade trick. I'm going to go and just adjust the color temperature of this shot. I'm just going to keep turning it, and all of a sudden I'll bring down my blacks. You also wanted them in more of a silhouette, and so by just using the temperature control and the magenta slider, I can all of a sudden get a really beautiful sunset look. So very quickly we've got that down. Now we're into our other scene that is using the matrix look. It has a nice green. It's not as positive. It's kind of a moody scene, and so we'll just again bring our shot quickly into place. Back to our sunset, so I'll hit the number 2 key to recall the second previous grade. And maybe in this case what we'll do is we'll even run her a little darker, so she's just really in the silhouette, just to give it that mood. I'm going to recall the second last grade here, and it's a little dark, so we'll just quickly adjust it. And off to our last scene, I'll call up the previous grade. Call up the previous grade. That is it. So, really quickly, I've showed you how to prep a timeline in Premiere and move it all the way to SpeedGrade using SpeedLooks. And not only that, we graded something that we did pretty quickly. I'm going to show you one more quick trick. If we can we'll go to the beginning of the timeline, and I'm going to select my second grading layer that I created. And just to give you an idea of what you can do, I would like to create a mask here. So we'll go to the mask menu, and I'll create a soft circle mask. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a really subtle vignette. So I'm just going to create a shape like this, very skinny, and then this outer ring is our feathering. I'm going to make this really soft. So I'll make that really soft. Perfect. And now what I'll do is I'm going to choose to color correct outside of that shape. And now we're going to just darken down just a bit. We're going to adjust the gamma, and I'll just bring it down really slightly. And I'm not adjusting the highlights or the blacks, but just the midtones. Now on the second primary that we've got down there, I'm going to create a new mask on that one. And this time I'll make it a vertical mask. So let's just do the same thing that I did there. And again, I'll just soften the edges quite a bit. And maybe just rotate this a bit, just to shape the light. And now I will go into color correcting it, and I'm going to choose the outside of the shape again, and we'll just adjust the gamma. And so really quickly, what we can show you by muting this track is that we've got a really nice subtle vignette that is really working to shape the picture. So now I'm going to just step through the timeline and just quickly copy and paste this vignette, or not copy and paste, I'm just going to call up the previous grade. And you can see how, without much tweaking, I'm getting, we'll move forward a bit, I'm getting a really, really very interesting shape picture. So I think it looks pretty good. And we'll just finish off with that. And one more, and that's it. All right, so I'm pretty happy with this grade. Done really quickly. So now let's send it back to Premiere, where we're going to do all our finishing, our encoding, perhaps add some titles onto it. So we've now chosen to send back to SpeedGrade. And we can now just show you how smooth and slick this is. We'll just hit play. And you can see that we're getting excellent performance. We've got masks going. We've got multiple LUTs working, multiple SpeedLooks working, and a really easy speed or easy workflow. If you need to tweak this at all, the next step would be just to send it back to SpeedGrade, do your tweaks, and then come back into Premiere. Another tip that's kind of nice to clean up your workflow in case this is going to have graphics or anything else on is we'll just select all the clips. We'll right click and we'll actually nest this clip. We'll call it a color corrected clip. And now on your Premiere timeline, everything shows up as one simple click or one simple clip, and then you can layer your graphics, your slates, your titles, everything over top of this, and it keeps your color correction nice and tidy. So that's it. That is the SpeedGrade direct link workflow with SpeedLooks. If you have any questions, send us a note at looklabs.net, and stay tuned for more tutorials.
There's pictures on the floor, still drunk from the night before. I cannot believe you don't love me anymore. Is there something I could say